Tavi, Think Fast by Poison Claw. A fresh layer of snow covered the streets of Canterlot, newly formed flakes floating by on the bristling winter wind as ponies filled the streets. Carolers bundled together for warmth beneath the hearth's warming lights as they belted out memorable hymns. Santa hooves stood on just about every street corner, offering good tidings to passing ponies, and the scent of roasting chestnuts filled the air. With hearth's warming eve just around the corner, every pony was bustling about in a rush to get all of their holiday preparations done on time, lest they get buried in the crowd of last-minute shoppers the night before, like last year. Let's see. Octavia stepped aside to let ponies pass as she scanned her shopping list, her saddlebags almost bursting at the seams with gifts. I've bought gifts for Mother and Father, Princess Twilight, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, Miss Hooves, and Little Dinky. As her eyes drifted down the list, Octavia couldn't shake the nagging feeling that she was forgetting some pony.
Tavi, think fast!
Octavia barely had time to cock her head to the side before she was pelted on the side of the head with a snowball.
Ah!
She shrieked as the wet slush dripped down her fur, turning to glare at her assailant. Oh, right. She couldn't even muster the motivation to roll her eyes as she locked eyes with the white mare standing nearby. Vinyl, must you? Vinyl Scratch snickered.
Oh, lighten up, Octavia. It was just a snowball.
Octavia huffed. Be that as it may, I would appreciate if you would put your energy towards helping me finish this list instead. That is why you accompanied me to Canterlot, yes? Blowing a lock of mane out of her eyes, having left her shades at home at Octavia's urging, Vinyl snagged an offered candy cane from a nearby Santa hooves with her magic.
Remind me again why we had to come all the way to Canterlot for this? Couldn't we have stayed in Ponyville and gone shopping there?
Nothing against Ponyville, but Canterlot has a far greater selection. Next to Manhattan, I would dare to say it has quite possibly the largest shopping center in all of Equestria.
And the longest lines.
Ignoring her, Octavia returned her attention to her list. Now, where was I? Eek! Octavia flinched as another snowball collided with the back of her head.
Vinyl!
Growling through clenched teeth, she whirled around to find Vinyl looking away, unconvincingly whistling to herself. All she needed to complete the look was a halo floating above her head. Glancing back down at her list, Octavia silently counted to 3 before twisting her head to the side, a third snowball whizzing past her ear.
Ha! Missed me!
Vinyl laughed as snow dripped down Octavia's face.
Nailed you right between the eyes.
Vinyl! Kicking her hooves against the cobblestone, Octavia charged the giggling mare, tackling her and sending them both rolling back into the snowdrift in an explosion of snow. Sticking her head out of the snow, Vinyl gave a quick shake of her head to dislodge the snow between her ears. Glancing around, she noticed the absence of one gray earth pony.
Tavi, where'd you go?
She was silenced by a snowball clipping against her ear, whipping her head around in time to catch the barest glimpse of a dark gray tail disappearing behind a snow-covered trench.
Oh, it's on now.
Leaping out of the snow, Vinyl used her magic to quickly construct a snow fort to hide behind. That done, she rolled up a new snowball and wasted no time in hurling it toward Octavia's barrier, grinning as she heard her opponent let out a shriek.
Bullseye!
Dashing out of cover, Octavia launched one projectile after another at the unicorn, 2 striking against Vinyl's barrier, while the third managed to slam against Vinyl's shoulder.
You're gonna have to do better than that!
Vinyl taunted as she used her magic to levitate a trio of snowballs, firing them one after another toward Octavia. As the last snowball smashed against the bench, Octavia leapt out of cover, snowball at the ready. Her eyes widened at the sight of the barrage of snowballs hurtling down toward her. Eek! Just barely diving back behind cover, she cowered with her hooves over her head as snowballs hammered away at the barricade without end. After what felt like an eternity, the rain of snowballs finally ended. When nothing came flying at her after several moments, Octavia tentatively poked her head out, scanning for even the tiniest glimpse of electric blue hair. Where did she... A sharp whistle sounded behind her. Woohoo! Octavia whirled around in time to catch a snowball in the forehead. How Vinyl had managed to sneak up on her was a question for another day, as she was swiftly bombarded with a volley of snowballs. Ah, Vinyl! She squealed, throwing her hooves over her face to protect herself. Quit it!
Victory!
Vinyl cheered, grinning from ear to ear as she lobbed one snowball after another at the helpless mare. Fighting through the assault, Octavia managed to get her hooves and take off running. Vinyl took chase after, cackling like a mad mare as she continued hurling snowballs at the fleeing earth pony. Weaving and dodging from the barrage, Octavia dashed behind a nearby tree for safety, causing Vinyl to skid to a halt in front of the tree.
Now I've got you cornered,
Vinyl thought in a chuckle.
Come on out, Octavia. You can't hide forever.
Hey, Vinyl! Vinyl's ears shot up as she heard the thud of hooves striking against bark. She had but a split second to look up, squawking in terror as an avalanche of snow rained down from the treetop and buried her from head to tail in snow. Stepping out from behind the tree, Octavia giggled as she brushed a hoof against her coat. Think fast. The snow pile shook for a moment before Vinyl managed to poke her head out. Blinking, she glanced at the earth pony standing before her, a smile across Octavia's muzzle as she held a snowball in her hoof.
Truce?
Vinyl pleaded, chuckling nervously under Octavia's gaze. Octavia hummed in thought, menacingly bouncing the snowball up and down in her hoof. Eventually she dropped the snowball at her hooves. Very well, truce it is. I have more shopping to do anyway. With a flick of her tail, she turned and began trotting back towards the main plaza.
Octavia, I think you're forgetting something.
Flailing her head around, Vinyl struggled to try and free herself from her icy prison. Oh, I'm sure some pony will be around to help dig you out, Octavia called over her shoulder, pressing a hoof to her lips to suppress a giggle. Eventually.
That's a good one, Tavi. Now help dig me out. Octavia? Octavia?